Have you ever wondered why ambulance is written the way it is written on the front of the vehicle? So if you notice, we can read it from left to right on this part, but on this part, what do you notice? It's the opposite way. Why is this so? Pause the video and have a think. This is because the vehicles in front should be able to read the word ambulance in their rearview mirror, and so they can stop or pull aside, etc. once the ambulance is coming, because of course it's an emergency vehicle. So we're going to talk about this phenomenon. What is this all about? Why is ambulance written? Today we're going to be talking about reflection. And here I've got a setup. I've got light source, a mirror, and I'm shining the light into the mirror, and you can see the light is reflected. You may be wondering, why do we use a mirror? A mirror reflects light really well because the mirror is not only a hard surface but a shiny surface, and shiny surfaces reflects light. So I'm going to show you how we do this experiment. So the first thing, you have your light source, your mirror. You shine the light into the mirror and you see the reflection. When you're doing your reflection experiment, you must draw your mirror line. So this is our mirror line. We have our dotted line, which is our normal, and it's just an imaginary line from which all our angles are measured from. So now we're going to shine the light at a specific angle from the normal. So we use our protractors. Remember, we measure from the normal, so our normal must be 0. So I'm going to shine the light in at about 30. You must ensure that it goes to where the normal meets the mirror. And you draw a straight line. And now that line is called your incident ray. Your incident ray. And then I'm going to shine the light in along that, and we will see what happens. I'm going to put my mirror on my mirror line. Make sure it has its support. And then I'm going to shine my light in at 30 degrees, and then we can see our light coming out along here. So I'm going to put a dot where the light is being reflected, and then I'm going to draw my reflected ray. So I'm going to remove my mirror and use my ruler to draw my reflected ray. So I make sure it's at the intersection where the normal meets the mirror. I'm going to put my arrow going outwards because that's where the light was shining. So my angle of incidence was 30 degrees. That's my angle of incidence. And now we're going to measure, using our protractor, our angle of reflection. Now remember, your incident, your normal rather, must be 0 on perfect. So what we can notice is that the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. So the angle of incidence and our angle of reflection must be the same. So this is our angle of reflection. And this is our reflected ray. When you're doing a drawing, you must use a ruler. You must label your incident ray, and the arrow is going into the mirror. You must label your reflected ray, the arrow is coming out of the mirror. You must draw your normal, which is at 90 degrees to your mirror line. So you have your mirror line. So your normal must be at 90 degrees to your mirror line. And your normal must be a dotted line because it's an imaginary line. Your angle of incidence and your angle of reflection must be equal. There are three main properties of a reflected image that we need to remember. Reflected images are virtual. That means they're not real. That means they're not formed by where real light rays meet, but where light rays appear to meet. They are also same size as the object. And they are laterally inverted. Laterally inverted. So you may be wondering, what does this lateral inversion has to do? So if it's laterally inverted, that means that the left appear on the right and the right appear on the left. And this is why the name ambulance is written right to left rather than left to right, so that the vehicle in front, the rear view mirror, will laterally invert the image, and so it will appear as it should. So when the drivers look in their rear view mirror at the ambulance coming behind them, they will see the word ambulance from left to right because it's laterally inverted. So you can try this experiment at home with your mirrors and your light.